We're here with Michelle Dockery, who plays Lady Mary on Downton Abbey. Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Everyone wants to know what's going to happen with Lady Mary.
Well,
let's just get right into it. Just tell me.
Well, the series 4 begins 6 months on since Matthew's death, so it doesn't pick up immediately, which I think people will be expecting to see Mary's reaction and everything, which is in fact what I was expecting to see of the first episode of the full series. But it's 6 months on, and Mary is still very much in mourning.
Is she wearing black all the time?
Yeah, she refuses to change from wearing black, and she's basically in this kind of, limbo. She can't really function properly, and so the family, and not just the family, but Anna and also Carson, are all kind of trying to steer her out of this gloom that she's in. Yeah.
Were you surprised they went that way?
Not surprised. I think it's right, and I think it should be. The audience have invested so much in that relationship between Matthew and Mary that it would have been really wrong for her to just suddenly, move on very quickly. And suddenly be all smiles. I mean, she's very much reverted to that kind of cold exterior that she had in the first series, which I've really enjoyed playing. I find that it's kind of more of a challenge to play.
You don't like playing happy?
Not as much, no, not as Mary, because she's always been that kind of character, very practical. And she's been through such a journey. I've loved playing her, and now this is a completely new chapter, which I wasn't expecting, of course, because, I imagined that Matthew and Mary would be forever, like everyone did. So it's interesting now playing such a different part of her character because of what she's been through.
How about, what kind of mother are we going to see Mary be?
She's not the most maternal of this, as you can imagine.
Shocking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the woman that she, of that period and of, the world that she's in, within the aristocracy, they wouldn't have been that, spent that much time with their children anyway. Sybil, Edith and Mary would have probably spent more time with the nanny than with Cora and Robert growing up. And so it's the same really with Sibby and George, that you don't see a lot of them really during the series, because that's not how it would have been. They see them maybe once or twice a day, after breakfast and before dinner, and that's it really.
So not a lot of crying babies on set.
No. Yeah, Mary's still looking quite immaculate. She's still getting eight hours sleep because everyone else is doing it for her. Nice. So and actually that's worked very well in practical terms for the show, because of course with children it's difficult working around their hours, and we have twins as the boys, so they take it in turns. When one starts crying, we bring the other one on. So it's great, really, because it can be tricky, and time is of the essence when we're shooting. So yeah.
Well, with Dan leaving, I mean, everyone sort of saw it coming because he said he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how he would make his exit. And when people were watching the finale, the Christmas episode, they were sort of like, there was tweets about like, is it coming now when he's hunting, when he's fishing? How was it for you reading the script? Were you just as like, when is it coming?
I was the same. I was thinking, when is this coming? And I think Julian did that very well, because he didn't want the whole episode to be about Matthew's death. And of course it was the Christmas episode. So I think he must have come to that conclusion that it had to be very quick and very shocking, so that the audience at the end, there was just that, what the hell have we just seen, rather than it happened midway through the episode. And the whole of the Christmas special be about that, because actually up until that moment, it's quite a happy episode. It's all the dancing in Scotland, the baby comes, there's all that lovely storyline with Anna and Bates, and I think he had to make that decision that it was very sharp. But it was shocking, you know, to read. And we all knew it had to be that final because, of course, Matthew was the heir. So he couldn't very well run away with one of the maids, never to be seen again. So we knew it was coming. But it was sad. I remember really crying when I read the end of the episodes. You know, we spent 3 years together, so it was quite emotional.
Has he texted, like, what are you guys doing, like, in season 4?
He's living in New York now, so the time difference is, you know, we're not always not as in touch as we used to be, but yeah, he's having a great time and he's doing some great projects, and I'm going out again soon, so I'll see him, yeah.
I bet he's like, can I get back on? Can we, like, say that was all fake?
Yeah. Not really.
Not really, no. And I mean, in season 3, there were quite a few moments where Mary sort of tells Matthew, you're the only one that knows, you know, the real me. You're the only one that sees this soft side of me. So you sort of mentioned that we'll be seeing her back to her old cold ways. Yeah, and
that keeps coming up in series 4. She says often that that it's Matthew that brought out the softer side in her, and that she was ever really only that person, that good person, when she was with him. So she's very much, you know, the first couple of episodes, she's kind of going through a depression, you know. And it's about recovery and about starting again, and she sort of hates it that she's reverting to being the cold, quite cutting Mary that we saw in the beginning in series 1. I mean, I love playing that side of her, but you know, the character she's struggling with that because she knows that she became a much better person because of Matthew, and a much more vulnerable and sensitive person, and she's sort of reverting back to being quite cutting. But they all know it's because she's grieving. Right. She doesn't mean it.
Or does she?
Yeah, or does she? When it comes to Edith, on the other hand. Yeah.
But I mean, how about, I mean, she's going to have some suitors, right? So how is that going to play
and similarly to series 1, it's, you know, aside from Matthew, she's being a widow, it's the same. She's now single again, and it's Cora's priority for Mary to meet someone and to kind of tie it up again, because of course it's important that she has a husband, because she has an only child who is the heir to Downton. And so, yeah, the new characters are introduced in episode 3. There's Tony Gillingham, who's an old family friend, an old family friend growing up, so they knew each other growing up. There's a character called Charles Blake, who is a friend of Evelyn Napier, who returns for this series, and he is also an interest. But Mary's quite reluctant to, you know, have any sort of romance, because Matthew is still very much in her head. Yeah. And yeah, so she won't move on too quickly.
People want Mary with Tom.
With Branson.
Branson.
I know, it's crazy. That is so inappropriate.
Branson, yes. Yeah.
My sister's husband.
It works. They're both in mourning. That's when people go towards each other.
I know, it's fun. I know, we've been hearing about this, the rumours that they get together. It's really funny.
You're not for that?
No. It's weird.
It is weird, but it would also be sweet.
Yeah, well.
Very excited for season 4. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Pleasure. Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.